The AX-4 space mission has been postponed yet again, delayed this time not due to the weather but because of technical issues as well. In a communication that's been put out by SpaceX and Axiom-4, it's been made clear right now that the delay is due to a leak, a liquid oxygen leak. This is in the Falcon rocket. So that's something that's being looked into right now. As far as when the launch could be, it's anyone's guess right now because there's been no communication from SpaceX or from the authorities on when the launch could happen. Look, for the last 24 to 48 hours, there's been a lot of talk about the weather conditions, about the fact that there's been some rain forecast. Now, with there being a technical issue, we could be looking at a much longer delay as well. And considering this is a manned mission, they're taking no chances, as should be the case. So the wait to see another Indian after 4 decades going to space for Captain Shukla to reach for the stars, shoot for the stars, literally, well, that's going to take a bit longer. And I know a lot of us are very, very impatient, but this is how space missions work. Right up till the very last second, there is always the possibility of a delay, and for obvious reasons, because they can't afford to take any chances. All necessary precautionary preventive steps will be taken to ensure there's no room for error, for disaster to strike. So as much as we feel disappointed, it's a great call that's been taken by the authorities that right before the launch, just as the hot test was conducted, this kind of a leak was found. And so immediately they took that step saying, look, we cannot afford to leave anything to chance here. And so we're calling off the launch for Wednesday. 8 a.m. was in fact the time that was given here Eastern time. So that's tomorrow morning for me. It's about 10:30 right now on Tuesday night, which is 5:30. In the evening there. So this evening is when we were expecting that there would be the launch taking place, but the delay happening. Let me bring in on this broadcast Dr. Ravi Margasahayam, who is the Global Space Ambassador of NASA. Dr. Margasahayam, I know that this is part and parcel. Okay, before that, let me bring in Shibu Tripathi also, who's joining me with the latest updates on this. Shibu, what do you make of this delay? In the communication, there's no mention of when it's postponed to. You know, so far, while it was focused on weather with a technical issue, does that translate to a longer delay as per you?
Good evening, Akshita, and good morning to all our viewers. According to the latest input that we have received, that the Falcon 9 has developed several technical snags during the static fire test. Now, we had reported this yesterday as well that SpaceX did claim that it had fixed those issues, but it seems that those issues keep on persisting. Falcon 9 usable rocket that SpaceX has developed. Now, this same rocket booster that was supposed to launch Group Captain Shukla to space had launched before. In the previous mission, it did launch Starlink satellites and successfully returned back. The technical snag was noticed during that launch itself. However, it was ignored in the refurbishment. Now, we have to understand that the Falcon 9, since it's a reusable rocket, SpaceX has a very fast turnaround time. Quickly it refurbishes the rocket and brings it out or back for a launch. But this one is more tricky because it's a human mission. Now, we did notice that yesterday they did conduct a Starlink mission despite the weather alert. But now with the Falcon 9 booster, the issue seems to persist for a longer period of time. There are also, they might have to take the entire rocket off the pad to fix it again. Now, if that happens, then this launch is going to be postponed most likely across this week and most likely into the next week. So we'll be looking forward as to the next date that SpaceX gives out. So far, there has been no communication from Axiom Space, SpaceX, or ISRO into what is the next date that we are looking at. So we're looking at any update that comes our way from Axiom, and we'll have to wait for it.
Shibu, yeah. Shibu, we also know that there was a liquid oxygen leak about a few days ago, and SpaceX had made it clear that the first delay from June 10th to June 11th wasn't attributed to technical issues. It was only weather conditions. So considering that at that time too, they had seen a liquid oxygen leak, and now that's again been reported, what do you make of that? Do you think that that was the first cause of the delay too, in hindsight?
It was part of the delay. Initially, the delay was due to weather because there were high winds in the launch area. That was a concern from SpaceX that the liquid oxidizer had a leak. However, they said that it was fixed. Now again today it seems that the issue keeps on persisting. They're going to take a lot of time, at least a day or 2 days to fix this issue. Liquid oxidizer is used in the combustion bay in the Merlin engines to basically power the Merlin engines and to launch the rocket. Now, if the fuel and oxidizer has an issue, it's a major concern for SpaceX. Take any chance with it. Going forward, they will have to take it down. They will have to relook at the Falcon 9 Merlin engines as to where the issues are, what technicalities need to be done, and what timeline it can be done. Now, we know that Subhanshu Shukla and the entire AX4 crew mission was ready for launch today. It seems that their quarantine might extend again. They'll have to relook at the new orbital parameters as well. It also now will also have to take into consideration
It's
the
definitely
availability of a port
challenging
on the
for the
space station.
astronauts because they'll remain in quarantine for that much longer. But my guess is that they were fully prepared for this, knowing full well that in a manned mission, these kind of delays are inevitable. That if there's even the smallest of challenge, there is no way the likes of SpaceX, NASA will go ahead with that mission. Shibu, just stay on with me. We're going to continue getting updates from you. Shibu pointed out a very important point here as well, which is that if looking at this technical issue, you see the Falcon 9 rocket being removed from the launch pad, being taken for further tests, that will inevitably mean a longer delay. It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks. So at this point, it's anyone's guess as to how long it's going to take, especially since there's been no communication. The last time around there was a delay, immediately SpaceX announced that, look, in the next 24 hours or even 48 hours, we aim to launch, giving a time of 8 a.m. Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. India time today. And also Thursday, 7:37 a.m. was the backup time that was given. This time around, mind you, there's been no correspondence or communication on when the next date of launch is. And that itself tells you that at this point, things are a little unpredictable. There's no way that officials are in any position right now to confirm for us how much time it's going to take. So it's no longer just about one factor, the weather. It's also about a lot more here of technical snags being immediately clipped to ensure that there is no room for any sort of error. These liquid oxygen leaks are a very serious issue. It was found in the hot test, which is a test done of the boosters just before the launch happens. That's when this leak was identified. So now they're trying to ensure that they can actually look into all of these aspects and plug it as soon as possible. They're not going to be in any hurry because they'll want to ensure that in this kind of a manned mission, all possible steps, precautions are taken. Like Shibu pointed out, imagine this. On June 10th, which was the original date of launch, there was another launch that took place, the launch of Starlink satellites, and that went as per schedule. So many asked, why didn't this happen then? If the weather was permissible for that kind of a launch, why didn't this happen? The answer is quite simple. It's a manned mission, so there's no room for error, which is why SpaceX took that call that even if we're talking about the winds being at moderate instead of the ideal condition of low, they're not going to take that chance. They want everything to be 100% perfect and ideal because that's when you can ensure that there is zero room for error. So as much as we're all disappointed, we should also be thankful that, this was identified at this particular stage, because what it means is that whenever the launch happens, you've ensured all possible leaks are plugged, you've ensured all issues are addressed, and it is a 100% safe launch, which is what we're all hoping for Captain Shukla and the 3 other astronauts who will be on board this space mission. For them, of course, that quarantine period gets extended for as long as, when the launch is expected to happen. As long as this delay remains, they will remain in quarantine. I'll take this back across to Shibu for more details. Shibu, if we were looking at past precedents, past incidents like this, where there have been delays due to technical issues like a leak, what can we really learn from that with regards to this? Can that give us some sort of a timeline of how long it could take, or what's the process that's followed?
Definitely, Akshita. I mean, SpaceX does not take any chance when it comes to human or manned space missions. We saw during Boeing snags, her mission, which was supposed to be 8 days, then it went on and extended up to 8 months when she came back earlier this year in January 2025. Now, we have also noticed that during Artemis mission, which was not a manned mission, NASA did not take any chance again. That mission was delayed multiple times, once just 40 seconds before launch. So whenever a rocket launch happens, whenever a big space mission happens, these kind of delays delays are inevitable. These kind of delays are factored into the entire system as to what happens, as to what if these delays happen, what can be the next. So SpaceX and Axiom Space, NASA and ISRO must have backed up these plans. They must be ready with alternatives as to when to launch. Now, we did see that during yesterday's delay, there was an instant announcement of a new date for today. But this time, that is not the case. Now, we also have learned that there was a backup date for Thursday in case the launch does not happen on Wednesday. But there has been no communication as to next launch date, which now indicates that there could be in terms of a couple of days, a week or more. We don't know at the moment, but definitely it's not happening today or tomorrow.